Hey everybody, good morning. It's February 11th and it's early in the morning. It's about 7:30. It's raining outside. So I figured I'd do one of these update videos on the statewide uh, races because the first filing has been put in now for all the candidates. We get a chance to see what kind of money they've raised. And as we look at this, I'll just remind everybody, don't get too hung up about money figures. If somebody's got $5,000 more than somebody else, that doesn't really mean a whole lot. Uh, there's two figures to look at: the money they've raised, which shows how active they've been lately, anyway, and then the money they have on hand, which shows that just the cumulative effect of their money raising. So we'll take a look at both of those. We'll go through the state races one by one. I'll try to do this as quickly as I can, and hopefully this will help illuminate what's going on in this sort of shadow primary period. Before we get to the actual primary period, we're in this shadow period where people are trying to raise money and people are deciding who they want to support and that sort of thing. So let me share my screen here. And we'll take a look at, we'll start at our website, which I think is a good reference for all this. If you go to our DadeCountyDems.com website, look under the elections section, we have all these offices listed out. I'm not going to go over the federal races. John Ossoff's raising a ton of money. So Sean Harris, we're in good shape there, but obviously you give more if you can. I'm going to start with the governor's race, which is always the statewide race that gets by far the most attention. And there's a whole bunch of Democratic candidates in the governor's race. So let's take a look at how they're doing. There's about 11 of them. And it becomes a thing to see roughly who's bringing in what kind of money and determine whether they're kind of a serious candidate or not. We've talked in the past. There's three groups of candidates here on the Democratic side. There seem to be four front runners. Then there's about three more sort of middle of the pack candidates, and then there's four very lesser known candidates who probably may not even be running. We'll see. So we'll see how those 11 are doing here as we look for governor. Okay, so I'm just going to go down the list. Olu Brown's one of those middle candidates. He's doing okay. He raised a little over 100,000. He's got about 60,000 on hand. I'll go through the ones that are. Well, Lucy McBath was going to run. She's not, so don't count her. Then we got Joel Joseph is one of those minor candidates. No funding raised there. Ocean Zotique is another one of those minor candidates, no funding there. So I don't think these are particularly serious candidates that we need to worry about. But we'll see. Well, I never want to eliminate anybody entirely. So we'll see how they do. And go down now. Jeff Duncan is one of the major four. You see, he's raised a bit over $1 million, 1.1. He's got a little over 600,000 on hand. And another thing you have to worry or you have to think about, I'm not going to delve into the details. You can go to the State Ethics Commission website and look up uh, in their filed reports where they break down where the money's coming from a bit more than they do here. This is just a summation here. So, some of this could be coming from loans, which, loans are fine. If you can take out a loan and pay it back, then that's money, but if you're looking for just a number of people who are donating, uh, you have to dig a little deeper. So I'm just saying that just to, make you aware that the numbers by themselves don't necessarily mean anything. So Duncan's got, he's raised a little over a million. He's got about 600,000 on hand. Jason Estevez, another one of the big four, raised over 2 million, has 1.2 million on hand. So he's doing quite well, it seems like right now. Now, again, you can delve into the details and see how much of that and where it's coming from. Justin Laster is one of those minor candidates, nothing there. Mike Thurman's one of the big four. Thurman came out early with his because there were concerns about him raising money, whether he was raising enough. He's raising a decent amount of money. He's 700,000. He's still got 690 on hand. Some of that's, I think, due to a loan, but again, that's not unusual. So he's in the race. He's not. He's very comparable to Duncan, a little bit behind Estevez. But he's in the race. I mean, if you got several $100,000 to play with, then you're still in the race at this point. Keisha Bottoms, who everybody's considered to be the front runner, the former mayor of Atlanta, again, 2.2 million, spent 1.4, has about 800,000 on hand. So you can see the four big candidates are all up around the 700,000 to 1.2 million range of money on hand. So nobody has a clear advantage. It seems like Estevez is probably doing better than most people expected. Estevez of the major four, he was sort of the dark horse candidate, I think, because he's younger. He's not quite as well known as the other three, but he's been out there for a while, really hustling. He's a great candidate. So he has definitely earned his place into the top four for sure. And we have we have Rua Rahman, who's one of those mid-level candidates. She's raised a couple 100,000. She seems to be a very popular, likable person. Derek Jackson, another one of those mid-level candidates, has still got, he hasn't raised a lot this time, but he's also a state assembly member. You have to take that into consideration too. That sort of gets in the way of some of these candidates raising a bit more, but he already had money on hand. So when it comes to cash on hand for the mid-level candidates, he's doing okay. So no real surprises for governor, I think, except for maybe Estevez doing quite a little bit better, probably than everybody thought. But the big four are still the big four there, and I don't think there's really been any change. Let's take a look at lieutenant governor now. Everybody, you can go to this website anytime, but I think it's just easier if you're a little more familiar with it. It's not the easiest website in the world to use. So we've had two major candidates in this race, then the third has been added. So that's where we are. I've interviewed two of them on the website. If you go to Lieutenant Governor, I've got interviews for Wright and McLaurin. I've talked to Seth Clark. I just haven't had a chance to set up the interview with him yet. But Seth Clark is from Macon. He was like vice mayor of Macon there. So let me get back to where I was. Here we go. All right, so let's take a look at there. Richard Wright has about 28,000 cash on hand. He's running a sort of a low budget campaign. He's not really spending any money so far, so he's kind of just holding on where he is. I'll go down McLaurin. He's been the front runner for a while. Raised over 300,000. Still got 136,000 on hand, so he's doing pretty well. And Seth Clark has just jumped in, and he's got a little over 100,000 to his name, which is a good place to start if you're coming in late. So when it comes to the money, right now McLaurin and Clark seem to have the advantage over Wright. Those are still the three major candidates for lieutenant governor. McLaurin is a state senator, Wright is a CPA, and Seth Clark is I'm calling it vice mayor of Macon. I don't think that's the correct title, but it's something like mayor pro temp, I think maybe the title. So those are your three lieutenant governor candidates there. And we'll go down the list of how they show up on the ballot as best as I can remember. Secretary of State should be next. Now, Secretary of State, we have Adrian Constanary's been to our county to visit us twice. We also have Penny Reynolds has been the one that I think a lot of people know because she used to be on TV. She was a judge, one of those judges on TV, had her own show kind of a thing for a while. Dana Barrett is a relatively newcomer who's come in, and so is Cam Ashling. So we have four Democratic candidates there. And if you look at money raised, Penny Reynolds has the advantage right now with 300,000. Dana Barrett, who's only recently joined, but she's been an elected official in other places, so she brings with her 200,000 into the race. Cam Ashling has just started, so apparently nothing raised so far. And then Adrian Constanary has raised in the neighborhood of 25,000, has a little over 2,000 on hand. So he's a newcomer, younger guy. So yeah, he's starting at a place where he's going to have to probably work harder to keep up with the bigger money in these races. So you can see there how that race stands as far as the money goes. Go up to AG. I just interviewed I've just recently interviewed both of the attorney general candidates. They're both pretty strong. Let me get rid of the Secretary of State ones to make it easier. Okay, those are Tanya Miller and Bob Trammell. They're both considered to be excellent choices for this race. There's only two of the candidates, and you can see they're very evenly matched in the money so far. Each raising a bit over 300,000, each having around 70 to 90,000 on hand, or having those expenditures. Tanya Miller having a little bit more on hand than Trammell, but again, 300,000 to 200,000, about 100,000 difference. That's not nothing, as they say, but it's still a fairly close race. And so I would say these two are fairly evenly matched going into the primary, and we'll just have to see. And again, I have interviewed both of these candidates recently. I think, let me take a look. Yeah, Tanya's video is up, and Bob's will be up this weekend. It's already done. It's already in the can. I just got to get our website got to put it up there, so it'll be up this weekend, so you can look at both of those candidates. I think you'll find both of them very impressive. No, we're good either way on that one. I think. I always get lost here. Here we go. Okay, so that's the Attorney General. Let's see. I think our commissioners are next. Commissioner of Agriculture. We still don't have a Commissioner of Agriculture candidate. I think we're going to have one soon, but we don't have one yet, so there's no point in looking at that. We have two recent additions to Commissioner of Insurance. Nabila Islam is one, or Nabila Parks, and Dandra Mathis, who's just recently joined. Parks has about 55,000 on hand. She's been running a little bit longer than Mathis. Mathis, I think, just stepped out there. So there are two candidates here for the Commissioner of Insurance. I don't really know much about this office. These are one of those specialty kind of offices that you got to be kind of in the field to really understand. So I can't really tell you much other than the fact that I haven't interviewed either one yet, but I will try to set them up as soon as I can. So that's Commissioner of Insurance. The other commissioner job is the Commissioner of Labor, and there's a whole bunch of people that have run for this, and I think all of them are new as far as being running for statewide office. So none of them have like a tremendous amount of money that I have seen. Let me take a look here. Uh, let's just start at the top. Jay Gibbs. I don't have an interview of her yet, but I haven't reached out to her, so I should have one in the next few weeks. Same with Michelle Sanchez, who just announced just recently. She has raised a little over $2,000 so far. So like I said, she just got started. I did the interview with Brett Hume yesterday. He's a union guy from down in Savannah. He's got about 23,000 on hand right now. Daniel Rosebud, I interviewed him the other day. He's a very young man who's just getting started, so he's still got a long way to go there with the money. Clarence Blaylock, you may remember from running for CD14 2 years ago in 2024. Clarence has about 24,000 on hand. That seems to be a pretty common number. Thereabouts. Christian Y. Smith I think, has been in the state assembly, and he has a little more, 43,000 on hand. I think he's a leader as far as that goes. So he's doing reasonably well. Jason Moon, who I've interviewed, has a little over about 170 on hand, so his fundraising has lagged a little bit. And the other Democrat is Nikki Porcher, who I've interviewed. You can see her interview on there. She's raised a decent amount. But she spent a little bit probably on things like Boat Builder, the stuff that candidates have to do. And she has 17,000 on hand. So none of these candidates are really separated from the pack. None of them, even the ones with lower amounts, are out of it yet. It's just that all of these candidates, I don't think any of them have ever run for statewide office. So they're sort of behind on the fundraising. And Commissioner of Labor is kind of like way down on the ballot. So they're not going to raise as much money anyway. And just to show you that comparison, the current incumbent Republican has like 200,000. So it's not like she's raising a ton of money either, and she's the incumbent. So these kinds of offices don't raise a lot of money typically. Whoever comes out of the primary will be part of the combined campaign, and they'll get more money at that point. But right now they kind of lag behind. And finally, the other one that got to look at is the one that mattered to me for such a long time was state superintendent of schools. And I have interviewed all of these candidates on our website. Well, let me get rid of the Commissioner of Labor. I hate when I do that. There we go. Okay. Oh, the Thornton has about 1,800 on hand. Uh, Lydia Powell has about 800 on hand, and Anton Anthony still hasn't raised. It still hasn't reported anything yet. So again, these lower level races, and it's race like school superintendent or state school superintendent. You have to be uh, kind of connected to the teacher associations, GAE, PAGE, American Federation of Teachers. That's where most of these candidates will eventually get their money from. Uh, Now that comes later. Right now, these candidates and state superintendent or the commissioner of labor candidates, all of them really struggle to raise money at this point because there's just not anybody really paying attention. And the more candidates there are, that tends to be the more money gets spread out. So when it comes to these races, if you have an interest in any of them, please consider finding out more about a candidate and supporting them. Not all of the money needs to go to the very top. Some of these candidates need help and the lower races too. So just keep that in mind. But that's an update on how the money has gone so far. This helps. I'll post this on our Substack and it will be on our YouTube channel. So look for them in those places. But remember those videos of the interviews that I've done. They're all on our YouTube channel. They're all linked to our website. So please check those out and please help pass those around to other people. I'm passing them around to other counties that are participating in this. The more people we get looking at these things, the more we can hope to do this in the future and educate our voters as to what their choices really are. So that's an update on the statewide campaigns. Thank you.